Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to a cold and wet Melbourne on a normal winter morning. It's Sunday 2nd of June 2024. I'm the Magpie Stitcher. Stitches. My small boy's helping me with this and he's changing the name quite a bit. I thought for today I'd go through some of my, well, all of my modern folk embroidery ones. Again, another designer I'm really keen on. Absolutely love his work. Got about 10 kits, whips on the go, probably about 30 of his charts, but I just thought I'd start with some of the little ones. So this is one of the ones I have been working on for a while. I will get it finished one day, but this is Julebokken, or the Christmas goat, 18 count gold Ada, I think with 347 DMC. So it's just a cute little tiny one, quite a good travel piece really. Fun stitch. I don't think I've got a picture of the finished item. I'll edit one in, but again, just the story behind the sort of Christmas dragon's quite funny, so I like that one. I've got, again, I'll need to edit in pictures of the finished piece because I can't show you the charts, but this one's, well, I call it Winter Snowflake. Not entirely sure if that's the correct name, but again, quite keen on red work, as you can see, and you'll excuse the trailing threads and the needles still everywhere. But yeah, just in sort of page one of that one, and I think this is 20 count Ada, one strand of, I really like red work, red samplers, got lots of them on the go. I think the original first one I've ever started and not yet finished is the Red Ship by Ink Circles. That's in what I call my retirement chest. So I've got, if we're accurately counting, about 80 active whips and about 205 kits, and of these 205 kits, probably about 100 of them are in what I call retirement chest. So that might be stuff I've started working on and I still like, but I don't like this month or this year to be more accurate. So it's safely stored away, catalogued. I know everything that's in there, but I also know I'm not going to touch it for the next couple of years. Don't know, it might change my mind later down the track. I find cross stitch comes in sort of, well, my cross stitch for me comes in sort of patterns. For a few years I stitched nothing but Joan Elliott's. I'll do a tour of the house one day, show you those ones. A few years after that, nothing but Mirabilia. And at the minute, it's a lot of monochromatic pieces, a lot of long dogs, a lot of modern folk embroidery, and a lot of samplers. I got into Flosstube, watching Flosstube a couple of years ago, and obviously Brenda and the Serial Starter started me off. And then just found a huge amount of other Flosstubers from then, and just everything they're stitching is just very inspirational, just set me off down another track. Now this one's another little Christmas one. Again, I'll edit in a picture of the finished. I won't edit it in, my small boy will edit it in. That's no point having an IT geek for a son if he's not going to help out with these things. So this is called A La Rose. Again, it's on 16 count Ada, I think, and 2 strands of 321 DMC. So again, just a very soothing, simple, small red piece. And I just always really like how the Rustico looks. I think with some of the sort of darker reds and darker browns, Rustico just really stands out. It's also really simple and just travel friendly, really nice to stitch on. Going back to a sort of discussion about comfort stitching, I've always found Rustico one of those things. Alright, now, I do love stitch-alongs. I think a lot of us like the start of the stitch-alongs. I think getting to the end of the stitch-along of a completed piece is a different story, but hey, stitch what you love. And besides, if you've start something new and you keep going back to things, you'll always have something new to go back to. So this is, I think, Modern Folk Embroidery, the 2023 stitch along. I think, is this Reaching for Stars, the Stars one? So again, you can see I've only done maybe 1 month and a half of February on, I think, a parchment coloured 18 count Ada with contrast colours are 321 and 3750. But I just love this pattern. Like I say, when I do sit down and stitch it, there's a lot of that sort of a CC style stitch in it, which does take a lot of concentration. So some days this is not a simple stitch, but I love that one. And then you see, I will stitch it one day. I tend to, well, what I've found with my stitching is I'll stitch on thing maybe religiously for 3, 4, maybe 5 days. And then I'll be like, right, I'll reach the end of a page or the end of a section, and that's the point at which I'm like, right, bored now, next one. And I'll go just play in my sort of bag of whips, so I'll find something else that takes my fancy. And this one, again, minimal start on it, is a 2024 Modern Folk Embroidery Sal. Let me dig out the colours for this one. Again, I like, you can tell I like reds, a lot of reds on my cross stitch. And I think, let me just dig out the numbers for this one. This one is 890 and 777 DMC. But I got a finished one here, let's have a look. No, that's alright. I'll edit my picture in the bin. And the one I've actually made the most progress on, which is quite good actually, let me dig that one out. Where's it gone? Oh, here we are. Is I think it's either the 1919, oh, this one. Yeah, there we go. Fruits of Plenty, the 2021 stitch along. This one here, again, look at that, look at those little Quaker motifs. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I have managed to do nearly the top row on this one. I say nearly the top row, it's still more than the other two. And this is on a, I forgot the name for the Ada on this one. Silver Ash. Now this is Silver Ash 18 count Ada from Sew It All. And you can see I've just done maybe all of page 1 and half of page 2. I've chosen a pink and a purple for this to pop. I find quite interesting some days. You'll choose colours, they'll look good, you'll start stitching them and they're like, yeah, no, that wasn't looking that good, I'll change my mind on that. That's 917 and 154. So again, sort of deep pinks, deep purples, that's my preference. I like, not that you can't get some lovely pastel colours or some sort of gently antique-y sort of faded ones, but if I had to pick a preference, I go for the brights, the bolds, the jewel tones, all the time. So I do have 3 of those SALs on the go. And one day I will get around to finishing them. Now, have I got the chart for the next one? Yes. This was another one he released maybe about 2 years ago, called Mamari. So, Lord of the Rings inspired. You can see the details there. All that beautiful lettering, those lovely swans. Now, I was talking to somebody else and they're stitching it on a sort of dark blue with like a gold thing, and I adore that idea, but I really wanted to stitch it, and what I had on hand when the chart popped up was this sort of delightful woodland green, so I don't know if that's washing out a little bit, and then 3371, which is my favourite brownie black. So again, that's just page 1, but it really stands out beautifully on this sort of greeny one, 18 count again, and this is from the Stitching Spot. So yeah, again, that's I really love it. It doesn't get as much love because there's about 17 other things calling my name most of the time. Now we have this one, I think. Next one is another Quaker, Little Bird Quaker sampler. There we go. Again, sort of Quaker trees, modern sort of reinterpretation. Absolutely stunning design. Now this one I have got further on. Hopefully this shows up. Again, so all of sort of the bottom, the left side, and started at the top, and again just bring you in to see that, those little tiny cute birds, the grapes on that tree. And again, such a beautiful clear clean alphabet, very classic, and the Quaker motifs down at the bottom. So I love that one, and that's actually one of my focus pieces for the year. So my aim is, it's a big aim, I've got about what I call 15 focus pieces, so that's do it for 4 days, get bored, dip in, pick something else up, and that little pile in a box is my focus pieces. 80 odd active whips, they're sort of stacked, I haven't touched this year, might touch this year, not really going to touch this month, actually bored now, want to change everything up, so that's where they all sort of sit. And that's one of my focus pieces, and I think next episode I'll get all my focus pieces out and say this, this and this. Now, because I have quite so many whips, I never have quite a lot of progress, but then I really do enjoy what I stitch, and you can see from behind me I do occasionally finish pieces. That's a couple of ink circles, that's I think Vivster on Etsy, and yeah, that's a little Barbara Anna, the Dreaming Girl Sal. Another video I'll do a tour of the house and show pretty much everything I have ever stitched that's here and framed and on the wall. Although I have got 4 things due from a framer I'm very excited by those pieces. One of them's a really old kit I've had stitched for years, and I've finally got it framed. So I'll show everybody that one, how it turns up. So this one's Fancy ABC, and it's upside down. No, that's the right way around. Cool. So again, I saw this and I literally fell over myself clicking on the internet to print and download, because it's just beautiful. Again, I do quite a few smalls, but my heart pretty much sits with big, massive, huge pieces of work that are going to take years and years. And again, I don't mind that, because I find having like an old familiar piece of stitching to keep with you. So I've done 2 and I'm on the 3rd page. Again, this is 3371. This is, I believe, 18 count, and it's out back from the stitching spot. So this sort of glorious pinky grey muted-esque colour, but so many things go so well on it. But again, just look how those flowers and the little angels and everything's popping on it. It's just so much fun. Of course, going to get to that big, massive alphabet of sort of Assisi stuff in a bit. That's not going to be as much fun, but I'd say for sort of blocky stitching, when you've got time and TV to watch and you don't need to pay attention, it shouldn't be too hard. Now, my last one is my most favourite one. They're all my favourite ones. But this is that AKGIT one. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Agate. A massive Veerlander one. Let's find a picture of it. There we go. That one there. Now, absolutely huge, but so glorious. I've seen loads of people on Instagram stitch this or start this. Now, I did start this. This is the 3rd go. I started the first one on 20 count white Aida with a very highly variegated thread, and while it was cute, it wasn't what I wanted. I really wanted something like the stitch. Second time, I tea-dyed some Aida, but it was still really crunchy and I was having such a nightmare getting the thread through, I had to call it quits. So then the 3rd time was the charm, and then this one is now on, get it folded up. Oh, I'm going to have to hold it quite far back so you can see it. This is 16 count Rustico Aida with, again, 3371, because that's my favourite colour. I do have a cone of doom for it. But just getting up close and seeing how gorgeous that is. And I've called this is almost comfort stitching, because there's a lot of symmetry in this. And the fabric's so soft and scrunchy, I tend to stitch this one in hand a lot. Now, I'm mostly a hoop stitcher, but this one just really easily fits in your hand. So yeah, that's my last modern folk embroidery, and definitely my favouriteest and definitely the biggest. So yeah, that's my modern folk embroidery, and that's me. So thanks very much.